Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay, we have got some champion buffs coming through, and yeah, I guess they're doing them on a regular basis now. This is the next kind of patch that's coming up, which should be next week. So, okay, let's take a look. We've got one Void Legendary to start with, and it's someone that probably a decent chunk of players would have got when he was available as a guaranteed. So Ailil, firstly, deserves a buff, right? This guy looks so damn sweet. Such a great job on this guy. Love like the arms and stuff. Very, very cool. And the kind of like tendril type fingers. Really cool. Anyway, so far he's been buffed at least once already, maybe twice already, but it never did the job. And the main thing that people have been upset with is this skill. So attacks an enemy, ignores stone skin. Big tick, right? Stone skin's annoying, and to have someone with a skill to get through it is big. Then if he kills an enemy, fully heals and places stone skin on themselves. So I guess the long and short of this is it just doesn't hit hard enough. So although it ignores all these good things, it doesn't tend to kill the people, and therefore you don't get all of the benefit. It's also got this AoE before attacking, removes increased defense, replaces with drop defense, and it removes strength and replaces with weaken. Places block buffs for one turn on enemies not under any of those buffs. And yeah, none of this stuff can be resisted. So all of this is very cool as well. He's got a passive, increases his HP by 2,000 and defense by 100 for every 1,000 attacks. You build him as a nuker, and he's got a bit of tankiness to him. His main fallback, honestly, is he just doesn't hit hard enough. That's like his main thing. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do here. So it says here, with this rebalance, Ailil receives a simple yet impactful damage boost, making him an even greater threat on the damage field. So the A1 stays the same. Attacks an enemy, steals all buffs from the target. It's actually quite cool as well. Like, his kit's cool. His kit's really great. This effect cannot be resisted. The subsequent time this attack hits an enemy, no buffs will be stolen, but he does more damage. So this one is just getting a straight damage increase. But the rest of the kit's already fine. We don't need to change the kit here. This part is really good. So the A2. Interesting. Okay, so all of this is the same, apart from will ignore 25% of the target's defense. I guess that's one of the reasons why he can't hit hard through stone skin, is because you can't put drop defense on them. So if he can get to a position where he's ignoring defense as well, they're not giving it a damage buff, but ignoring 25% defense is quite a significant buff. That's interesting. Okay, that might be enough to get that stun. And then the A3 is just straight up a damage increase. And then his aura is changing from crit to attack. So he's going to get 30% attack in all battles. I don't know. The kit is already good. Okay, so A1, A3 more damage. A2 now ignoring defense. I think this could be a big thumbs up for Ailil. I think, but we'd have to test him when we get some access. So that's interesting. Next one's actually a mythical, so it's going to be relatively small groups of players that could have them. Albeit, if you get a mythical and they suck, there's nothing worse than that. So I just feel like, you know, throw a couple more champions in the mix, like maybe one epic that's trash, maybe one more legendary. Like if I'm thinking this far into the game, we could get one epic, one normal legendary, one void legendary, one mythical buff a month. It's not that hard, is it? 4 buffs. And then there's a bit more of a spread of players that can be affected here. So it says here, with this rebalance, we aim not only to boost Calamitus' damage, but also enhance his kit. Okay, so in this base form, already we've got attacks an enemy 2 times. Each hit restores this champion's destroyed max HP. Each hit also heals this champion, and he gets an extra turn if he kills someone. So they're adding into this part. Each hit has a 20% chance, or sorry, an extra 20% chance of inflicting a crit. And that carries on through his kit, by the way. So you can actually build him with 80% crits, and he's maxed out. It's quite good for builds. Makes it much easier. Okay, Hordes of Calamity here. So what we got here, a quad hit doing a whole bunch of debuffs as it stands. So it's getting a damage increase on this skill. Also, each hit ignoring 20%. Sorry, each hit gets an extra 20% chance to crit. So only needs that. And then it also says here, the first hit will ignore 10% of the target's defense. Each subsequent hit will ignore an additional 5% defense. So by the fourth hit, you're going to be ignoring 10, 20, 30% defense. Feels like that should be a good change. Feels like it should be good. And then the final skill. So attacks all enemies. This is always a crit. It's now going to also ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. If he attacks an enemy, places unkillable. Sorry, if he kills an enemy, gets unkillable. If he kills 2 enemies, places unkillable on this champion for 2 turns. So again, feels like it's a good change. And then the passive heals this champion by 50% of their max HP at the start of their turn. It's going to completely change. At the start of this champion's turn, places shield equal to 50% of his HP for 1 turn. Also places increase attack for 1 turn. That's massive, actually. Okay, that feels like a bunch of good changes for Form 1. So Form 2, let's have the big reveal. Ba-da-ba. Don't have this guy on my main, just so you know. Is that a microphone he's got there or what? Is he a singer? Okay. Is he a priest? No, what's going on with the front? I've never noticed it before, but what's going on with this bit? Don't know. Anyway, Form 2. See what's going on. So, first attack. So what we got? Attacks an enemy. After attacking, transfers all debuffs from him. If the target is under Hex before the attack, transfers all debuffs from this champion to the target before attacking. So, the only change you're doing here is, again, extra 20% chance to crit. Second skill. Attacks all enemies. Extra 20% chance to crit. And they're adding in here. So, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, removes all debuffs. That stays the same. Will ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. Will ignore 35% instead if they're under Hex. And then damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. So a bit more ignore defense going on here on this skill. And an extra 20% chance to crit. And then on the third skill, Termination. So currently attacks all enemies before attacking places Hex and drop defense. Ignoring Poison Cloud, all that stuff. So the change in this one here. The cooldown's changing to 3 instead of 4. That's actually a massive change. Extra 20% chance to crit. Everything else stays the same. Quite a good change though, actually. I think makes him a bit more like Hydra viable, I think. Yeah. And then we got the passive again. Fully heals this champion every time they kill an enemy under Hex. Also increases his attack by 10% for each enemy under Hex. So this now includes whenever the enemy's under Hex, heals this champion by 30% of the damage. Also increases this champion by 20% for each enemy under Hex. Okay, I mean, it feels like both of them have got some pretty decent changes there. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.